Hey everybody, welcome back to Bowling Every Day in February. This is a continuation of our video from yesterday, bowling at 7 ranges. No oil, string pins, plastic ball, practicing spares, trying to just get a bunch of reps in. I ended up bowling 4 games this day, kind of in succession. So it was really a lot about stamina, partially physical stamina, partially mental stamina, making sure that I kept my head in the right space, kept trying to pick up spares, tried not to drain too many of them, but I did have a couple that I just threw right into the gutter, a little bit out of frustration, a little bit out of, physically doing the same thing over and over again can get to you. So, all that being said, it was brought to my attention that I talked a little bit about the benefits and pitfalls of string pins without really talking about what string pins are. And your average non-bowler may not know what that's all about. So, traditionally, when the pins are set up in the lane, there is a machine called a pin setter, and it picks up pins and puts them into the machine and then sets them down on the lane, and the pins are freestanding. There's nothing connecting them to the actual mechanism, and when the pins get knocked down, they get pushed back into the machine, and then the machine cycles them back up and through and then places them on the lane again for you to go ahead and knock them down. The idea with string pins is that it takes a lot of those mechanics out of the machinery and out of the back of the lane, and instead, each pin has a nylon rope string wire attached to it, and whenever the pins need to be reset, whether it's for a spare or for a new rack, the machine will lift up all of the pins, and it will use those strings to lift them up. It'll kind of shake them around so that the pins are not wrapped around each other, and then it'll set down the correct pins, whether it's a full rack or whatever ones you have left over. So after this next ball here, I'll go ahead and leave in the machine actually doing the resetting of the pins, so you can actually see it lifting up the pins and kind of shaking them out so that they end up back in the position that they're supposed to be. So you can see it kind of drops the pins, pulls them back up, drops them, tries to get them so that they're not wrapped around each other. And if the pins don't set down in the right place, then it'll just drop them down and then re-lift them up. So that's kind of how that works. But because of that, the actual strings that are attached to the pins can get wrapped around the strings of the other pins, and sometimes cause them to fall down in a way that seems kind of unnatural, because the pin that gets hit may not have actually been hit by another pin. It may have just gotten the string wrapped around it up in the mechanism. And so the pin falls down, and you're sitting there saying, I don't know what I did to make that pin fall down. It's harder to understand the action. It's harder to recognize why a pin may have fallen down or may not have fallen down. And it's harder to recognize if your ball went through the pins the way you expected it to, or if you got a lucky string that wrapped around the pin and knocked it down, and you're not going to get that same hit on the next ball, for example. So that's some of the things about string pins, and that's how they work. The other thing I wanted to mention that I didn't really think about too much until when I was talking more about string pins after making that video yesterday. On shooting your spares, for freestanding pins, occasionally a pin will actually slide on you, so it'll be in a different location than its regular spot on the lane, and you'll have to adjust to be able to pick it up, even if it's moved. Sometimes I'll call it like a 5.5 pin if the 5 pin scoots over to the right or something like that. And so you're sitting there looking at that for freestanding pins, but for string pins, that's never going to be an issue because it picks up the pins and respots them every single time. So that could be an extra advantage to string pins, depending on how you are at picking up that kind of spare. So pretty much that's the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow.